Like and subscribe right now, or you will find diamonds before iron. Dinner Saniture, the real-life Mowgli raised by wolves. A Neanderthal man in a modern suit and tie. German museum exhibit. Solar-powered lasers are installed in the Saudi desert to help guide the lost to water sources. The Blue Dragon River, located in Portugal. A Colt 38 revolver from 1938 that automatically takes a photo each time the gun's trigger is pulled. Portrait of Jesus by digital artist Bezutowicz using artificial intelligence, combining traditional iconography and what we know about his ethnicity and culture for the time and region. Belgian canaries have the best hair. This whale has 30 centimeters deep scars due to being cut by propellers of a boat. It survived and is named Blade Runner. Indian Air Force Helicopter Unit 116. Triple necked acoustic used by Led Zeppelin's John Paul Jones. Old gold / copper Crayola crayons that turned green from oxidation. The Swedish warship Vasa. It sank in 1628 less than a mile into its maiden voyage and was recovered from the seafloor after 333 years almost completely intact. Now housed at the Vasa Museum in Stockholm, is the world's best preserved 17th century ship. Sart Canal Bridge in Belgium. Suitcases of people sent to concentration camps. Poland Gedenks, World War II Museum. Each suitcase is a family, a life. 1949 Mercury Black Cherry Pearl. Child soldier with a teddy bear backpack aiming his rifle to the cameraman in Monrovia during the Second Liberian Civil War, 2003. A saber with 5 swastikas, referring to the 5 blessings of life. China, 17th century. A polar bear stalking wildlife photographer pulls sounders from under the ice. Both the bear and the human were not harmed in this encounter. A camouflaged Swedish Navy ship. Knife grinders laying face down at work. To save their backs from being hunched over all day, they were encouraged to bring their dogs to keep them company and also to act as heaters to keep them warm. France 1900s. Keeper André Borma, comforting Dakasi the gorilla in her last moments, passed away on September 26. André has been taking care of her since 2007, when she was orphaned as a baby after poachers killed her family. The 15-mile-long shadow of Mount Fuji in Japan. The mouse deer, aka the chevrotin, is a tiny hoofed mammal the size of a rabbit. They are found in the rainforests of Africa and Asia. Pyramids of Giza are not in some isolated faraway desert area, but right beside Cairo city. A pay stub we found while renovating our home. The final port of call, cruise ships being scrapped due lack of demand caused by Cupid. This amazing fungus I discovered while hiking in central Massachusetts. The largest limo in the world, then and now. Sculptor Anna Coleman Ladd created porcelain's masks for disfigured World War I veterans. Jane Bugatti standing next to his Bugatti Royal, one of 7 built, 1932. A patient photographer. The use of metal clamps to hold stonework together. World's tallest woman and shortest man, posing together. Not a planet, just the tip of a ballpoint pen. The world's first gold-plated hotel tower in Hanoi has a golden shower on its rooftop terrace. An air gunner stands before his B-24 bomber wearing what it took to survive at 25,000 foot altitude, 1944. Selenite Crystal Cave. This little fella looks like an ancient entity carrying a world on its shell. The face of Stonehenge Man. A forensic reconstruction of a Neolithic man born about 5,500 years ago and buried in a long barrow near Stonehenge. He lived in the area before the stone circle was built. Crayons labeled with element name that helps produce that color. Melatonin, the main component of bee venom. Mock-up image showing the skeletal frame of Keith Martin, who weighed about 980 pounds, 444 kilograms. I own a 1926 bottle of whiskey smuggled into the United States from Canada by Al Capone's company. Victorian couple trying not to laugh while having their picture taken in the 1890s. 150-year-old wisteria tree. Red-tailed black cockatoo. During World War II, maps were printed on silk for convenience. After the war, during a fabric shortage, they made clothes using all those silk maps. Artist Jan Vorman uses Lego bricks to repair and fill holes in broken walls all over the world. The pomato is a grafted plant that is produced by grafting together a tomato plant and a potato plant, both of which are members of the Solanum genus in the Solanaceae, nightshade, family. Cherry tomatoes grow on the vine, while white potatoes grow in the soil from the same plant. I spent 3 years capturing this rarely imaged supernova remnant, 213-hour exposure / 260 megapixel photo. The world's largest functioning toothpick sculpture, and its creator Scott Weaver. It took 100,000 toothpicks, 37 years to complete. One of the oldest rocks in existence, the Murchison meteorite. It's 4,600,000,000 years old, and likely existed before the Earth itself had completely formed. Now Prime Minister of Kosovo, Albin Kurti, reuniting with the police officer that arrested him 16 years prior as a young protester. Frozen bamboo path in Kyoto. Solar powered bike path that glows at night. Lawrence Brooks, the oldest living American veteran from World War II, born on September 12, 1909 at 112 years old now. Irrigated garden dining table. The top of the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. Color blue is the most rarely occurring pigment on our planet. These blue morpho butterflies do not have a single pigment of blue in their wings. The microscopic structures of their wings filter out all light except blue. This is also called diffraction. This is a 396-year-old bonsai. It survived the Hiroshima bombing and was gifted to the US in 1975. Before this, it was taken care of by the same family for 5 generations. Waiter gets tipped with gold. This bridge carved into a pencil. 3 hours of star trails taken at the wave. Soviet seaside dogs to blow up Nice tanks. In 2014, Norwegian archaeologists found a lone wooden ski on a mountain top where it had been trapped in ice for 1,300 years. Because skis come in pairs, archaeologists monitored the ice patch for summertime thaws that might reveal the other one. 7 years later, their patience has paid off. Roman coin celebrating the assassination of Julius Caesar. Sold for $3.5 million in 2020. Basquiat's warrior painting. It sold for $41.7 million at Christie's in Hong Kong in 2021. How far we've come. Cool picture of Mount Machu Picchu in Nepal from side view mirror. This is 21-year-old Winston Churchill, after graduating from the Royal Military Academy and getting commissioned as a cornet, second lieutenant, in the 4th Queen's Own Hussars. These are African giant pouch rats. They help find landmines, recheck samples for missed TB patients by smelling them. These are basically hero rats. A 102-year-old chip in Sydney that grew trees. Gorillas mimicking a park ranger, Matthew Shamavu, who helps protect them from poaching. Taken in Virunga National Park, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Montana, 1901. A group of frontiersmen with an advertisement. Wives wanted. A dense line of climbers, about 200 people, on their way to the Hillary Step and then the summit of Mount Everest, 2019. The deepest living multicellular organism discovered is the devil worm, Halocephalus mephisto, a species of nematode detected in, or recovered from deep rock fracture water in several gold mines in South Africa as deep as 3.6 kilometers, 2.2 miles, under the surface of the earth. The Atlas moth. To scare off predators, her wings are camouflaged to resemble heads of a cobra snake. Every documented Roman settlement that existed. Every Roman settlement. 117 AD. Antarctica from 1765 frozen in glass. How my grandfather kept his wrenches organized. The body of a gymnast while performing a trick. Pyramid of Quetzalcoatl in Teotihuacan, Mexico, 1925. I grow copper on my clay jewelry with electricity. The Lagoon Hash Nebula, captured by the Hubble Space Telescope. A World War II era farmer painting strips on her cow to increase visibility during blackout conditions, in case the cow wandered into the road. A cross-section of an elephant's foot alongside a human foot X-ray, revealing a striking skeletal likeness. Satellite image of the La Palma volcano lava heading to the sea. Brooklyn Supreme, 1928/1948, was a red-roan Belgian stallion. He stood 19.2 hands, 198 centimeters, 6 feet 6 inches, tall and weighed 3,200 pounds, 1,451.5 kilograms, with a girth of 10 feet 2 inches, 3.10 meters. His horseshoes required 30 inches, 76 centimeters, of iron. Cotton candy lobster, 1 in 100 million catch. Donated to the Huntsman Marine Science Center. He'll be safe and sound at the Huntsman, where he'll live out the rest of his life. Easter eggs for Hodler, 1945. Meganeura, also known as the giant dragonfly, is one of if not the largest recorded insects in history. Dating back to around 300 million years ago, these dragonflies are known to have a wingspan of up to 2 feet. Endemic to China, the Melamine mustache toad, Leptobrachium boringi, grows 10 to 16 keratinized nuptial spines on their upper lip during the breeding season for combat with other males. Lost spines can regrow. The toad's forearms also increase in mass, making them look bulkier. Males average 3 inches. A guy charging his car from the 7th floor. On the shore of Switzerland's Lake Zugleiserdor, that takes you down a flight of stairs to an underwater observatory, picked by DIY Maxwell. A tree suspended in midair in Jaffa, Israel. Half of Charles Babbage's brain is displayed at the Science Museum, London. The other half is at the Hunterian Museum, also London. Reflection of Heart Cave in Chiba, Japan. A picture of double rainbow I took today. Llama's Eye. Here is an early motor home, built in 1926. Milky Way over volcano in La Palma. Scientifically accurate Neanderthal sculpture at the Natural History Museum, London. Control room, Metsima nuclear power plant, Armenian SSR. This photo I took this morning of dewdrops on a spider web. Zoom in to really enjoy it. Crowds gather in Times Square to celebrate the end of World War II. Manhattan, New York City, August 14, 1945. An entirely blown glass sculpture entitled Codfish by Elliot Walker. Lava from La Palma volcano surges after crater collapses. The most expensive painting ever sold by a US artist. It is by Basquiat and called Untitled. It sold for $110.5 million. Real Triceratops skull and mid-processing I saw at the Denver Science Museum. The Upside Down House, Blackfriars Road, London. It's really fascinating what an iPhone can capture through a telescope. This is a photo of the moon that I took with my phone and telescope just a few weeks ago, and it's my most detailed image of the moon so far. A sculpture made entirely of recycled material, Lisbon, Portugal. Tea room in Japan. US-Mexico seesaw at the border. Wait for Me Daddy by Claude P. Detloff in New Westminster, Canada, October 1st, 1940. Blue Mollin, the ship that ships shipping ships. The ocellated turkey is a turkey species native to Central America. They are known for their colorful feathering. The brain of Albert Einstein. It was removed within 7.5 hours of his death in 1955 by pathologist Thomas Stoltz Harvey. Harvey removed and weighed the brain at 1,230 grams. It was then taken to a lab at the University of Pennsylvania and dissected into several pieces for further research. No, this isn't a toy model of a city. It's a real-life photo of New York. The photographer achieved this effect using a technique called tilt-shift photography. Greek gold Heracles knot bracelet. Circa 300 BC. Hubble Space Telescope photographed this dramatic birth of a star. Winding glacier rivers in New Zealand. One of the first combat submarines used in the Civil War. Hand-cranked by a crew of 9. It managed to take down one Union ship before sinking and killing everyone on board. 1920s Harley-Davidson with covered sidecar. There exists a type of rock known as itacolumite that has all of the properties of rock, but is bendable. You can even find diamonds in them. This is not a trick. The figure on the right has been painted with Vantablack coating, one of the darkest coatings known, absorbing up to 99.965% of visible light. The original Vantablack coating was grown from a chemical vapor deposition process, CVD, developed by Surrey Nanosystems. According to the Guinness Book of Records, the anechoic chamber at Orfield Laboratories in Minneapolis is the quietest place in the world, with a background noise reading of -9.4 decibels. If you chatted with someone, your speech would measure around 60 decibels on a sound level meter. Hand-drawn banknote by counterfeiter Emanuel Ninger aka Jim the Penman. He began counterfeiting in 1878. He wasn't caught by the USS until 1896, when he paid a bartender with a $50 banknote. The note got wet, and the ink began to smudge. There are only 20 to 30 examples left out an estimated 700. endangered harlequin toads, Atelopus baleus and Atelopus barbotany. The Great Stone of Dorothy Pentreath, died 1777. She was the last native speaker of Cornish, a Celtic language related to Welsh. My friend and I were fortunate enough to witness this fiery sunset at Talisker Bay Beach, Isle of Skye, Scotland, UK. Winston Churchill took part in the last major cavalry charge of the British Army, 1898, aged 23. When I got a sunburn on my tattoo, only the white ink blistered. Sunrise yesterday at the South Pole. It won't rise much higher than this all day. Years ago, Russia cancelled its Buran space shuttle program and abandoned several buildings at Site 112 at the Baikonur Cosmodrome spaceport. We hiked 80 kilometers across the Kazakhstan desert, mostly at night, to see it all up close. Different color dyes glow different colors. The level of details found on walls and ceiling in Alhambra, that was built 700 years ago. Actual photo of a life form born and raised entirely in space, floating above its home planet. Russian artist Geppetto makes incredible landscape rings, based on real life events, like the Northern Lights, or erupting volcanoes. Asperitas clouds over New Zealand. Got a super detailed photo of a dragonfly mid-air. Little girl with her doll sitting in the ruins of her bombed home. London, 1940. Bulletproof vest testing in 1923. About 50 years ago a fiery pit opened up in the desert of northern Turkmenistan and the pit is still burning. Wooden Imperial Stormtrooper helmet. Wood carving. Lady Norman Florence travelled to work on her motor scooter in London in 1916. This praying mantis caught a hummingbird. Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book Manuscript Library houses one of the largest collections of rare books and manuscripts in America.